Governor Maura Healey's staffers has been charged with trafficking cocaine. Lamar Cook was arraigned in Western Mass today.
Morning sunlight washed over the marble steps of the state administrative complex in Springfield. Clerks carried coffee, security guards scanned badges, phones rang, printers hummed. Everything looked normal. At exactly 10:42 a.m., a courier entered the lobby pushing a small dolly. On top sat a sealed cardboard box wrapped in metallic gold tape. No one looked twice. Government buildings received deliveries every day: office supplies, outreach pamphlets, computers, furniture. The receptionist signed the log. "Office 436, the courier said calmly. The package was cleared. 3 floors above, Deputy Regional Coordinator Daniel Reeves adjusted his tie and stepped out of his office. He smiled politely to coworkers as he walked toward the elevator. Reeves was respected, educated, composed, and trusted. His job involved coordinating community programs across Western districts. To most people, he was the definition of public service. But cameras would later show something unusual. Reeves didn't wait for internal mail distribution. He personally came down to receive the package. He signed with steady handwriting. He carried it himself, and he locked his office door behind him. Across the street, an unmarked van sat parked beside a construction barrier. Inside, federal agents stared at live surveillance feeds. The moment the office door closed, the radio crackled. "Package confirmed. Subject has possession." They didn't move yet, because this wasn't the first package. For nearly 4 months, investigators had tracked identical shipments. Same gold tape, same courier route, same office destination. Each one had passed through official state property without inspection. The building designed for public governance had unknowingly become a protected transit corridor. Inside the office, Reeves placed the box beside his desk but didn't open it. Instead, he powered on a state-issued laptop and typed a short encrypted message. "Delivery received." He paused, then added, "Awaiting instruction." Outside, agents prepared breach gear. The lead investigator whispered, "Government building or not, we end this now." At 10:47 a.m., the hallway filled with footsteps. The door exploded open. Reeves froze, hands still on the keyboard. Inside the unopened box, later tested, sat nearly 9 kilograms of pure cocaine. The war on drugs had just entered a government office, and nothing about this case would remain local.
Jessica, the judge ruled that Lamar Cook is a danger to the community and ordered that he be held without bail pending.
Daniel Reeves had never looked like a criminal. He had no record, no debt, no suspicious lifestyle. His salary was generous, his reputation clean, and his responsibilities significant. He coordinated youth grants, rehabilitation programs, and public safety meetings. Ironically, he often spoke about community protection initiatives. That contradiction is what first caught investigators' attention. The investigation had not started with him. It began with chemistry. Months earlier, forensic labs identified a rare chemical signature in cocaine seizures along the East Coast, a purity profile almost identical across multiple states. That meant a single organized supply line. But distribution locations made no sense. Hotels, universities, government mailing addresses. Someone had discovered a perfect shield: bureaucracy. Every package shipped to official buildings passed through minimal scrutiny. Paperwork was trusted. Badges were trusted. Offices were trusted. Reeves became visible after Homeland analysts flagged repeated deliveries addressed to administrative outreach departments, departments with no reason to receive heavy parcels. Surveillance followed. Agents watched him collect packages from a university conference center twice. Each time he signed under a different variation of his name. Each time he left minutes before internal staff logged the delivery. He was careful, but not invisible. The final step required certainty, so agents replaced one shipment with a controlled package and waited. Now sitting handcuffed in an interrogation room, Reeves finally spoke. "You don't understand," he said quietly. "I never touched the product." Investigators exchanged looks. "Then why receive it?" an agent asked. Reeves stared at the table. "Because government buildings are the safest warehouses in America." Silence filled the room.
He explained the method: shipments routed through official addresses, temporarily stored, then redirected using legitimate courier pickups scheduled under outreach events. No break-ins, no smuggling across fences, just paperwork. In trust. But one question remained unanswered. Who gave you the network? Reeves hesitated, because this operation did not belong to him, and revealing that name would transform a corruption case into something far more dangerous.
Digital forensics opened the real investigation. Reeves' laptop contained hidden spreadsheets disguised as community grant reports. Dates matched shipment arrivals. Payment codes matched cryptocurrency deposits, broken into small increments. He wasn't selling drugs. He was managing logistics. The supply chain stretched far beyond Massachusetts. Messages traced to Caribbean shipping ports, then to intermediaries using non-profit organizations as financial buffers. Shell charities processed donations that converted into digital currency within hours. A laundering machine hidden inside civic infrastructure. Federal analysts mapped connections across multiple states, public storage areas, contracted delivery companies, temporary event permits. Each location allowed brief possession without suspicion. The cartel had discovered a perfect strategy. Don't sneak into the system. Become part of it. Then came the most alarming message recovered from Reeves' encrypted phone. Next phase approved. Expand to municipal partners. That meant replication. Other offices, other states. Not corruption, infiltration. Agencies formed a joint task force immediately. Investigators realized they weren't dismantling a smuggling route. They were racing against a blueprint spreading quietly through administrative systems. Because if drugs could move undetected, so could anything else.
Within days, federal buildings across the region reviewed internal delivery protocols. Quiet audits uncovered irregularities, small ones, but enough to prove vulnerability. Reeves' operation wasn't large, it was experimental, a proof of concept. Cartels had tested whether public trust could be weaponized, and succeeded. Congressional briefings classified the case as infrastructure exploitation rather than narcotics trafficking. Officials feared public panic if confidence in institutions collapsed. Meanwhile, more arrests followed. Coordinators, financial handlers, document processors. None looked like criminals. They looked like administrators. One senior investigator summarized it bluntly: "We guarded the borders. We never guarded the paperwork." The threat model of organized crime had changed forever.
The courtroom was silent when sentencing began. Reeves stood without expression. He wasn't charged as a dealer. He was charged as a facilitator of transnational distribution crime, carrying decades in prison. Outside, reporters debated corruption. Inside federal agencies, the discussion was different: prevention. New verification systems were created, independent inspection units assigned to government deliveries, cross-agency monitoring introduced for the first time in domestic offices. The system had learned a painful lesson: trust is not security. As Reeves was led away, one investigator looked at the evidence board, hundreds of mapped connections now dismantled. This case would never become the largest drug bust in history, but it would be remembered for something else. The moment authorities realized the greatest vulnerability wasn't the border, it was the door that was always open. And from that day forward, every package entering a government building carried a new question. Not what is inside, but who trusted it to be safe.